Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Keydron with 924 Photography, and today I've got another video for you. We're diving into the Saramonic K9 5 GHz UHF system. This does a lot, and we've got a lot to go over, so stay tuned and enjoy this video.
Why you wanna move like that? Why you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? Why they wanna move like that? Why you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard?
In the United States, Saramonic K9s can't transmit and record 32-bit float simultaneously due to restrictions. But if you're outside the country, say in Canada, you can do both. You can send a signal and record 32-bit float internally. What you're hearing right now is me using the K9 32-bit float audio internal recording right now. I'm not transmitting because I'm using the Saramonic Neo timecode generators, which they are on this camera, and this camera right above. But I've also jammed it on my Action 5 that's sitting over here getting a wide shot in the Action 5 right here that my wife is actually using for all the behind the scenes. So that's what's good about these Saramonic Neo timecode generators. These timecode generators can link up to 48 units. And I've also have it jammed into here, which you can have the timecode as well. Everything is synced with the K9s on my back, and 2 other units are right here. When you do it this way, you avoid dropouts because you're recording internally, and then you use the time code to sync everything in post for a flawless workflow. Plus, the 5 GHz system is stronger than your typical 2.4 GHz, so you get fewer cutouts. And those 2.4 GHz are gonna be like the Saramonic Ultra and the Saramonic Airs, or your DJI Minis or your DJI Mic Mini 3s. Those are gonna be on a 2.4 GHz system. Now let's talk about what actually makes the Saramonic K9 different. This is a digital UHF system that operates on a massive frequency range, roughly 550 all the way up to 960 megahertz. What that means in the real world is better RF performance, especially in crowded environments where the 2.4 gigahertz tend to struggle or drop out. Now, you can run up to 20 systems at the same time, which makes this perfect for events, interviews, or multi-talent setups. Each transmitter has an onboard recording of 24-bit and 32-bit float audio. Around 130 dB on the transmitter side, that gives you a safety net. If someone gets loud or suddenly quiet, you can recover it in post. Now, depending on where you're located, especially in the US, you may not be able to transmit and record 32-bit float at the same time. But even then, recording internally and syncing later with timecode gives you a rock solid workflow, I promise you. You can sync all your tentacle syncs up, and then you can jam it because it supports jam. And then you can also jam other units like my Action 5 that's jammed, or my other cameras that I'm using right now. Speaking of timecode, the K9 supports JM Sync timecode, which is huge for multi-camera setups. I'm running this across multiple cameras, syncing everything in post with 0 guessing and 0 drift. That is freaking amazing. You also got a selectable RF power up to 100 milliwatts, a 3.5 locking millimeter input with 3 or 5 volt plug-in power. Whoa. And included is an IP67 rated lav mic, which I'm using right now. So it's built to survive real world shoots. Add in the dual screen receiver, USB-C digital output, and full control through the Saramonic app. The app makes it easier to start and stop your records and also sync up the time codes across multiple TC Neo units. And this thing starts feeling a lot less like a wireless mic and more like a professional audio system. It can do two things. It can do LTC, which is going to go through the audio port. So for all you Nikon users that need time code, basically what you would do is you will go into the Saramonic Neo, you would change the out from L to A, and now you can put your 3.5 on one side of your audio tracks. Now, when you're jamming time code, all you FX3 users, that is going to be good for when you're doing multicam like this. Right now, we got the Nikon ZR, and I have the Sony FX3 behind me, and I have the Sony FX6 right here. And all of them are having time code jammed in there. For everybody that has the Nikon ZR, you're gonna need this Atomos Ultra Bluetooth sync. So the Nikon will take time code, but it has to be Bluetooth. You have the Ultra Sync by the Atomos, right? We're gonna sync them all up, and then we're gonna jam it with a cable right here, and then it's gonna jam. And then it's gonna send the signal to the blue, to the Atomos Blue. From that, you will have to go in on your Nikon camera, and it will jam time code through the Bluetooth. That's how you would do it. You got to get these two pieces if you want it jammed. And by jamming time code, you are going to be able to sync cameras up. Like right now, this is the ZR. Right here is the FX3. But first, I want to take you to Baltimore, where I was at the Procure Conference and I was teaching a video class, and I used the Saramonic K9s, and I was transmitting them to my Tascam FR AV2, or this is AV-FR2 is one of them. Don't quote me on that. I was running it straight into that, and the audio sound amazing. And let me show you those 3 interviews right now.
No, this is my 4th conference, I want to say. My favorite part about the conference is the hands-on learning and the networking. I think learning hands-on and seeing people and actually networking with people all across the country, learning new skills. I've been in business a while, but you can always take time to learn new skills. That's why I keep coming back.
This is actually my first one. I'm able to network and get people to pour into me because I am newer to the industry. You know, willingness to help. There's no gatekeeping, tips and tricks to help me, you know, keep myself sane, but also give out quality work. We're all in this to, you know, help each other evolve and grow as creatives. So I'm super excited to be here, and I can't wait for next year.
So as you can see, I was teaching the class how to gain stage. And I know y'all didn't hear it in there, but that audio sound amazing. So basically what gain staging is, you're gonna plug your microphone up to your K9 transmitter, right? And then you're gonna put the microphone right here, the lavalier, and you're going to gain stage up until you got a healthy level here. Then from there, you want to go into your receiver, and then you want to turn your receiver up until you have a healthy audio signal here. Well, when you're turning a healthy audio signal up here, depending on if you're going to a audio recorder or to a camera, you want to make sure that that signal is reaching a -12 dB. And so for this setup that I'm running my FX6, I'm running the Saramonic Neo, I'm running one K9 transmitter, one K9 receiver, and then I have the Saramonic Soundbird V6 right here, which is their shotgun mic. We're gonna dive in deep on the Saramonic K9s, and I'm gonna show you how to use them in this portion of the video. Now, this might be a little long, so if you already know how to do that, then you can skip and then skip on forward to the phone app or whatever you need to do. So this is going to be your Saramonic K9 receiver unit. On the outside of the unit, you have nice orange clips that will let you open up to where you'll be able to put your batteries in. On the K9 unit, the batteries are not included. I went and got some AAA NIMH batteries off of Amazon, and then I also got me a rechargeable case. Your auxiliary screen here, you have your 2 SMA antennas. This is going to be for your whip antennas to go on. They put this little label here to tell you what frequency range you are in. So this is 550 to 608 megahertz. That's what we're going to be operating on in the US. And in Canada, you are able to operate on the same frequency or different frequencies. You just have to make sure. they have an A and a B side. So you have an A side, 3.5 to go into your camera, and then you have a B side to go in to another mic. They also give you different types of whip antennas. You got a straight whip antenna here that goes on, that's a little bit flexible, but then you also have this whip antenna if you need to. I use these on my receiver just in case you have it on top of your camera. You can put this up so your signal, you'll have it up and you don't risk hitting the antenna right here. Now what this little doodado is, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. I got this from Viviana Solutions. It's a whip antenna cover. It keeps the antenna from getting detuned when it's on skin. So when you have it on the back of your subject, sometimes these whip antennas can get detuned or they can lose signal. So I highly recommend you getting these. They came in a 4-pack. I'll link the description below for these if you need that as well. So also what comes in the case, you get cables. I think it's like 3 or 4 different ones. You got a USB Type-C, USB Type-C, 3.5 to 3.5. I have one for the Timecode, a BNC to 3.5 for my FX6. So if you need additional cables, like for the FX3, you're gonna need a different type of cable on the FX3. So I'll put the link in the description. It'll just say FX3 Timecode cable. I have my Action 5 right here. And to be able to sync Timecode with that with the TC Neos, you're gonna need this cable. This is a C21 from a Deity. You can't just get any kind of cable because it won't work. I tried it. I bought some for $12 off of Amazon and it did not work. So make sure you get the Deity C21 cable, and I think Tentacle Sync makes another one. It's a USB Type-C to 3.5, but it jams the Timecode into your Action 5. So what you get in the box, you get these little labels, one for your receiver and then one for your transmitters. You can color code these here, and then you can have them color coded on the front, and I'll go over that a little bit later. You got your little normal belt clip that's going to be here. If you need to put this onto a camera, all you need to do is just grab this. This is going to be for a hot shoe. You just put the belt clip on first. You'll slide it in, lock it in, and then it goes onto your camera. And then again, like that whip antenna I was telling you about, you'll put that whip antenna here, just like so. And then you can bend this up, antenna that's facing straight up, so it can get the signal better. That being said, we're going to turn the unit on. You have 4 little dials right here. You have your batteries that's going to go in here. Again, that I'm using rechargeable batteries. Your SD card is going to be in your transmitter and it's going to be underneath here. So all the transmitters come with SD cards. So you have your power button on here that you want to hold down for a few seconds, and your unit will turn on. And then you have your menu button over here on the right hand side. So you want to hit your menu button, you'll go in. Once we go in, you got your up and down arrows to go up and down, and then you got your check button to go into a specific unit. Once we're into a specific unit, we're going to go into the frequency first. You can auto scan this frequency, and basically it'll auto scan and it'll pick the right frequency for the area that has the less interference. Then you can have your preferred frequency. If you want a preferred frequency, just say, I know that I want 540 megahertz on all of my units, or just this transmitter and this one, then I can come over here and I can set that for 540, and I know that it's going to work. But I recommend you just doing auto, so it picks the cleanest signal for you. You just hit the back arrow to go out of it. You can manually do your receiver also by putting in the correct signal that you want. We're gonna back out of that. You got your bands. So your bands is what your country is allowing you to operate in. In the US, we're able to operate in 550 megahertz to 608 megahertz. So that's our range that we're operating in. So if we go down, you got your color. You can pick your color that you want. Just come in here and just hit the check mark button, and you can pick whatever color for whatever transmitter you got. So for this one on my A, I got it for orange. And then for my RX2 is going to be for blue. So then once you go down to reception, you can switch your receiver on and off. Then you got audio, right? You click that, the down arrow. you go to output modes. You have your receiver 1 and your receiver B. So this is for transmitter 1, transmitter 2, or vice versa. Basically what happens with this is you're able to only record like mono. So you are recording ISO tracks to a or a B. So if I click on this and I go in and say, for instance, I don't want to use the channel B, but I want both of the transmitters, my A and the B transmitter, to be on one side on the A. You just come in here and click on it, and then you go over, you click it, and now A is going to be receiving the signal from the transmitter A and B. But I normally just keep it on the ISO tracks, so it just does that just like that. The output signal. The output signal is going to be your gain of how much you're going to be sending to your camera or to your record audio bag. This is where we come into gain staging. When you're getting ready to gain stage for your camera, you want to gain stage from the transmitter first. So you want to turn on this and you want to bring up your level until you get a healthy signal here. It is a recommendation to put earphones in here so you can see if your signal is getting distorted, because if your signal is distorted here, it's going to be distorted on your receiver, and it's also going to be distorted on your camera. Speaking of the camera, when you go into your camera, you want to set your in-camera gain to 5 to 7. I keep mine on 5 on my Sony. It keeps the noise floor down, meaning you want to keep that because the preamps in the cameras are not as good, except if you're using the ZR that has 32-bit float that's already in it. You keep it down to 5, and then you have a meter on your camera. This is for any camera. You want to make sure that you're hitting at a negative 12 dB that gets you a great healthy audio signal. Gain stage it here first, so you have a healthy signal. Give yourself a little headroom, lower it down just a little bit. Then you want to turn on your receiver, and then you want to gain stage your receiver up until you get a healthy audio level here. Once you have a healthy audio level here, that signal is going to be going into your camera. Then you want to make sure that it's hitting at a negative 12. If it doesn't hit at a negative 12, you can turn either the receiver up or the transmitter. I recommend turning the transmitter up if you gave yourself some headroom. If you didn't give yourself some headroom, then turn it up from the receiver until it reaches on your camera a negative 12 dB. Device management. Once you go into the device management, you have your aux screen here. You go on, you can go to rotation. You can rotate it if you need to, up and down. You got signal priority. You can go in here and it'll change to tell you what type of signal it is, because if you're looking at your camera from the back, you can see what signal it is, and you can prioritize what you want to see. I normally say audio levels because I want to make sure I'm able to see that my signal is not peaking right here. And then you can turn your brightness up on the auxiliary screen here if you want to, bright up and down. If you keeping it down is going to save your battery. We're going to go down to battery. So you got your battery. I'm using rechargeable NIMH batteries, so make sure you're doing that. If you have your alkaline, make sure you choose that. It just tells the unit of how to process the battery power. You got your sleep mode. You can turn your transmitter 1 off, or you can turn your transmitter 2 to sleep. So you can say, okay, I want this to be asleep, receiver 1 or receiver 2 for 30 minutes, right? You can set the time. I'm glad they put that in there. Then we go to Bluetooth. You want to enable the Bluetooth on your transmitter and your receiver, because this is going to allow you to operate on the app way better. You got your system. You got your screen on and off. I have my screen to where it goes dim to save battery after 5 minutes. 15 seconds and 1 minute was just way too quick. And then you can have it to never go to sleep, which is going to use more battery. You got your brightness of your screen here. You can hit your arrows down to lower your screen brightness or brighten up your screen brightness. The brightest is going to be 5, and trust me, it's going to run your battery down. So just be note of that. Then you got your read. You can use your read to read or update your unit from this button here. System reset. If for some odd reason your system is messed up and it's not working right, you can always reset it. You got upgrade. You can upgrade by internal storage that's going to be on your SD card. And then you got your version. You want to come here on your version to see what version it is, because they always put in updates and you want to make sure you're on the latest firmware. And then right here, you can name your device. So I have this as K9RX as the receiver. On this one, I have K9TX 2 or 1. So you can name these so you always know which one is which. So then when we come over here and we turn on the transmitter, we have a little different few options. So we're gonna go all the way up to the top. Again, the frequency, you do it the same way. You go in here, you can pair it, or you can do it manually with the frequency so it'll match this. So it's almost just like a flash. It needs to be on the same signal to operate correctly. Then you got your band. You wanna make sure that you're in the right band for your country. Your RF power. As I stated earlier, you have 20 milliwatts, 50 milliwatts, or 100 milliwatts. If you're outside and you know you're gonna be a distance from your receiver, you can turn it to 100 milliwatts. It's gonna give it some more power so you don't have, you have fewer dropouts. 50 watts is if you're in a room, like a little conference center or something like that, that should be good. And 20 watts if you're here at your home. And 20 watts is going to use less power and you may not actually feel it getting hot on the unit. Time code. Right here is where you can do time code. You got an input type C and a mic in. You can set it, you can put them in groups, and you can sync it, meaning you can sync all the devices up in this unit right here, or you can just do auto. Right here is where the time code, you're gonna be able to see your time code here. You wanna click on that and you wanna choose the frame rate that you're shooting with on your camera. Your audio. This is where you can turn up and gain stage your audio at. Remember what I said earlier? This is where you will put your earphones in, you would have your talent to do a test, and you can bring this up and down. And if you are recording 32-bit float, you don't want it to be low, even though 32-bit float has a lot of dynamic range. You want to make sure you still have a healthy signal so you don't have to do as much raising up in post. Signal, you have 3 volts, 5 volts, and line in. These systems, they are hungry for 5 volts, so I just leave them at 5. Low cut mode. If you have an air conditioner on or something like that, you can turn the low cut mode on and it'll cut down that little frequency so you don't hear all those little rumbling sounds in your background. And then you can just look up on ChatGPT to tell you what 100 hertz does and 150 hertz. Monitor. You can enable this, and this is going to monitor your earphones so you're able to hear your output of your recorded 32-bit float, or if you're testing for your gain stage. You can come in here and you can turn that down to whatever level you want to for the output for your headphones. Record files. Once you do that, you got your record files. Here on the screen, as you can see, you got 32-bit float. You can see it. I have 88 hours left on the SD card, and it's going into 001 folder. Right here, it tells you how long your record has been recording. And at the top, you got your time code. Over here to your right, you got your battery and then your record status. If you want to hit the record onto your transmitter, all you need to do is just hit that button. You'll see it start recording and counting down. Then once you're ready to stop, you just hit that check mark again. It's going to ask you if you want to confirm, and you cancel, and the red light will go off. You have different record modes. At the top up here, it comes normally at 24-bit. You want to change it 32-bit so you get the best dynamic range out of your internal recording. Files, right here. This is where you can review your files. So once you record it in your 32-bit float, you can come here and plug in your earphones, and then you can hit this, and then you hit the check mark again, and you can play your last recorded file, or you can go through the files and listen to whichever one you want to make sure that your audio is going to be good, because when you are recording internally, you are not monitoring this audio unless you're transmitting a signal. And for the US people, we can't do that. So you need to make sure it's right before you start recording. That's what I did for this unit, as you can see that it's recording right now. So that being said, if you're in Canada, you're able to send a signal and record, so you'll be able to hear it and listen to it all in one. You can turn your LED light on and off. Your LED light is going to be one up here on the top. So if you don't want to see any of that because it's flashing in your video, you can turn it off, but I recommend you keeping it on. So when you're recording, like on my pack right here that I got going in here, I have it recording in. I know it's still recording. I know it's not off. I don't have to have no mistakes, and I don't have to have no surprises later. Some quick functions, right? This button here, how I got them set, you can hit this and you're able to mute your mic. So your mute, you're gonna see the mic sign red, and you know that this unit is muted, and then you got your audio right here on red. Once you do that, it's turned off. So if this red light is on, you on mute. If you press and hold the down arrow, you can get to your time code fairly quickly. You just hit this, go into it, change your frame rate, and you're good to go. You wanna hit the back to go out. If you hold the up button, you're able to go to your record quickly. So you don't have to go into the menu. You can go here, you can hit record, and you're ready to go. Press it again, confirm, and it's completely off. I've went through everything from these 2 units that you need to know to get you up and running. Up next, we're gonna go over the app, and I'm gonna show you the app and show you how the time code goes and how to sync that all up. That's gonna be a brief section. So what you wanna do is you wanna go download the Saramonic app in the App Store. That app is going to look just like this right here on the screen. It says Saramonic. That's the one you're looking for. You want to click on that. You want to open it up. Once you open up the app, you have a lot of different features in here. And as you can see, I can see my K9 transmitter here. I can see everything that I need to see. And if you give it a second, it'll populate. It takes a little second. So once they're up, I can see that I have my K9 transmitter here. I can see that I have my K9 receiver here. And then I have my time code boxes. This one is going on my FX6. And then I have all different type of my time code boxes that are running. And then if you want to go into one, you can just click on it. You can see the time code running here. So on my K9 transmitter 2, because this is my K9 transmitter 2, you can see that right here at the top. And then if I go out of that, you got your receiver, and I don't see this one on because I'm recording internally. So once you're ready to sync all, you can just hit sync all right here. And then if you want the time of day, you just hit the cell phone icon on both. You can change the user bit of how you see the year, month, and date. And then you want to sync your frame rates here. And then once you hit sync, if you have a TC Neo and all of these with the 2 transmitters, because the receiver doesn't get time code, both of these, once you hit sync, they're all going to sync up everything that you need. And speaking of sync, you can jam sync, as I said earlier, the TC Neos. So you can, if you got the Tentacle syncs, you can use your Tentacle sync, jam your TC Neos, and then go into the app and hit sync, and then they are all synced up flawlessly. Once you're out of that, you have your different controls here. You can go into your audio system right here. And as you can see, I see all my time codes that's gonna be here. We go here, you can go into your settings, privacy, and everything that you need to do on the app. You can go and add. This is where you're gonna add all of your devices. So once you get them, you want to come in here and you wanna go add devices. Once you add the devices and you're hooked up to the internet, it will let you know if you have an update or not. Then if you click this button here, you can go in here and frequency scan. So basically, if you don't want to go in here and do all your frequency scans on your actual unit, you can go in here and hit frequency scan, and then you can pick which one you want to, and then it'll auto tune and find a frequency scan. So it'll be that button right up there at the top. And then you can delete, you can batch update, which it'll update all the units. You can put them batch to sleep, so you can control a lot from the app. You can put all these units to sleep by just hitting batch sleep, and you can wake them all up, or you can power them all off from just this app. I'm not here to sell you something, but I'm here to tell you something. We have these here at Fort Worth Camera. So if you're at Fort Worth and you need one of these K9 systems, or if you need the TC Neos, you can always go to fortworthcamera.com to see if we have it in stock, or come down to the store and one of the associates can definitely help you check out and get you a TC Neo for your camera. And just remember that Natalie is over here and she can help you because she knows about time code now, because I've taught her. Come here, Natalie.
That's great.
Look. This is Natalie, and this is the person you want to come in and see and ask her all the time code questions that she don't know nothing about when you come down here.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, guys, so if you like that video, this is what I want you to do. I want you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I want you to hit that bell so you never miss a notification. And again, if you want to come down here, come down to Fort Worth Camera. We have the K9s, we have the Airs, we have the Ultras, and then we also have the TC Neos in stock, and you can come get yours today at Fort Worth Camera. And until next time, I'm gonna see you in my next video. Love, peace, and soul.